Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So you might be wondering, why are we looking at the customers list on Ripple.com? Well, today we have a very interesting subject to talk about. So we're going to be talking about Swift. We're going to be talking about a ton of things happening around the XRP and Ripple community and ecosystem, and there is a ton of things to really kind of look at here. So first off, I really want to show you guys the ecosystem here. So in almost all of the partnerships that Ripple has, you guys can see them all scrolling here. The amount of adoption that we've been seeing from Ripple in just the last year, in the last 6 months, half a year, right? The amount of adoption has been absolutely massive. A few of these names, just a few of them, all right, singular ones, are providing access to hundreds of other corporations and businesses within the financial institutional scene. I want you guys to pay attention to things happening right now around, Ripple in terms of the expansion of on-demand liquidity. We do look at, the overall cost basis here. 40% reduction in cross-border payments, cost since Money Match joined RippleNet. 25 million money saved by, SMB customers on FX conversion and transaction fees. 22 seconds average time it takes a Zemo to settle payments into Thailand. Now, obviously, these, statistics could be pushed up a little bit more if they utilized XRP. You guys might be wondering, well, why aren't they utilizing XRP? I just think that there is a major uncertainty around utilizing XRP with RippleNet just at this current moment in time. I think that once we do see US regulatory clarity for XRP, I think it's going to really boost the utility behind XRP just because of, it has that certainty, it has that, legitimacy factor behind it. And also we do see 98% savings on domestic transfers rates for NEOM customers. We do see, here why companies trust Ripple to, help drive their business forward. Here's from Cross. You guys could read all about this from like even MoneyNet. We also do see Mercury FX as well. And you guys do see, what is happening here. When we discovered that Ripple could help us settle, payments 100 times faster and at a fraction of the cost, it was a game-changing moment. It has allowed us to open up previously inaccessible markets. We look at the world in a totally different way thanks to Ripple. This is the Ripple way. And there's so many other companies here as well. Like, you look at some of them, like even Santander, 6 number of countries where OnePay FX is available. Again, bring faster, cheaper cross-border payments. It's all centered around, the cross-border payment scene. But there's so much more happening here. And you guys can see the amount of adoption happening, like even from SEMB, 17 number of corridors. These are all access points for adoption of Ripple as well. And you guys do see like 120 plus number of countries where Money Match customers can send money. Honestly, the global adoption of Ripple has definitely been, standing out to me. We've definitely been seeing a ton of, adoption happening from Ripple's side. And this is why when we look at like things happening in the past, or we, look at things happening right now around digitization of payments. So first off, we go back to like Digital Euro Association from just yesterday or 2 days ago now. Double down on your competitive strength by learning from industry-renowned decision makers, entrepreneurs, and luminaries from across the financial services ecosystem at Reuters Events Payment Summit Europe 2022. Now, of course, this is happening on June 28th to like the 29th. And the reason why I bring this up is because, look at the names here. Some of them are pretty significant. Like, for example, we look at like Santander, Citi, even Swift is going to be talking about, things happening here as well. Barclays, Lloyds, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank. These are some very large entities. Now, of course, when we look at this, you can see exactly what they're talking about. Future-proof your payment strategy and unlock new value in a real-time, open, and digital landscape. So I really kind of look at this, and the things that really kind of stand out to me when we see things like this happening is it's centered around real-time payments. Again, I share with you guys a little bit of a landscape on this, and I think that Crypto Airy really kind of put it perfectly here. It's one of those days when the discoveries are like a tsunami. Vitanova Bank provides access to RippleNet, the decentralized global network of banks and payment providers. With this technology, you can message, clear, and settle financial transactions in real time. Settle equals XRP. And yes, This is exactly what we've been, discussing with the XRP solution. You are not getting instant settlement or anything like that without XRP. And I've always shared with you guys this, overall transaction settlement mechanism that they're basically utilizing for cross-border payments, right? Settlement in seconds, not days. When we scroll down, you can see exactly how this is being achieved, with XRP being at the center point for the cross-border payment solution. This entire framework is built upon XRP being the on-demand liquidity bridge for this. This is why when we look at things happening around the banking scene and the financial institutional scene, it's incredible to pay attention to what XRP is doing here. And I know a lot of people, really kind of look at like XRP price will go down. It's the tradition in terms of like good news, right? And it's funny, right? Because when we look at things like that, it does kind of discourage us because we're like, what is going on? We see so much, bullish news around RippleNet with XRP, but no price action. And I want you guys to understand the clear picture happening around this scene, right? First off, we're still in a Bitcoin driven market. We're still under Bitcoin dominance. So when we talk about, bullish news happening around, like, for an example, Ripple with XRP, you're not going to see price instantly moving because of that news. We're not in a utility driven market. This is why me and many other XRP YouTubers as well have been warning you guys about a utility driven market, because when we do usher into that age, which by the way, I do believe that we are almost on the brink of a utility driven market, XRP is going to shine very, very bright because of the use case value behind it. We do see here Vinova Bank provides access to RippleNet, the decentralized global network of banks and payment providers. With this technology, you can message, clear, and settle financial transactions real time, paving the way to send money globally in one frictionless experience. Of course, we do see RippleNet connects banks, payment providers, digital asset exchanges, and corporations with the most advanced blockchain technology for global payments. Financial institutions are able to execute transfers to a growing number of institutions. And of course, this does come after, that massive article break from, U.Today. RippleNet is actively utilized by Sirocco's top bank, Vinova. And yeah, I think that this is great. I think that when we talk about things happening here, it really does prove the point on, like, listen, Ripple is doing everything in their power to gain global adoption. We do see here, they provide access to RippleNet, and it's basically the quote that I just read in terms of like settling real time. Additionally, Vitanova, a financial service provider located in Sirocco, an island in the Caribbean, Sea, and a country with the Kingdom of the Netherlands, also utilizes Swift alongside Ripple for international payments. RippleNet connects banks, basically talking about, the growing number of institutions. As previously covered, Q1 2022 was a record quarter for Ripple's remittance platform on-demand liquidity, as volumes increased with nearly 8x year-over-year growth. In total, RippleNet saw a $15 billion annualized payment volume run rate, marking unrivaled growth as on-demand liquidity use cases continue to expand. And yes, when we look at the expansion of ODL and all of these partnerships, these should make you bullish on XRP simply because, when we get to the point of, XRP having full on clarity and XRP basically being ushered in to be utilized with almost every single one of these partnerships. And you guys might be wondering, why would XRP be utilized? Because it, again, it adds cost basis to all of these FX rates. It adds, over 30% savings, instant settlement as well. Any sort of instant settlement that you are seeing with RippleNet is XRP. Again, I share with you guys the diagram here. This is what's providing instant settlement. You are not seeing instant settlement, real-time settlement speeds up delivery regardless of funding source of destination. You're not seeing that without XRP. So remember that. And also, I want you guys to understand that when we talk about Ripple, right, and we kind of bring in, Swift, because this article is actually talking about Swift as well, how they are utilizing Swift alongside Ripple. It's interesting that we kind of pay attention to what, Swift is doing as well. And we kind of see the, adoption of the Swift network kind of slowing. We've seen it slow greatly. And we've also seen a lot of banks and institutions kind of moving away from Swift. And I think that this is actually very good to see because, again, it really kind of sparks the debate. Is Swift going to, adopt digital currencies and, crypto? and I do believe that we will see that happen. But we do see Ripple solution is now a lot bigger than what Swift does. There's not another solution out there that does messaging and settlement instantly like Ripple. And so our solution is now a lot bigger than what Swift does. And yes, it is patent technology and it is fairly large. In terms of on demand liquidity, it is probably one of the most significant use cases to date in crypto. And I've always said that. And like I said, in terms of Swift, we did see going back to May 19th, G7 countries urge Swift regulation of crypto assets. And of course, when we talk about this, it's because of what is happening within the crypto market. We do see here, in light of the recent turmoil in the crypto asset market, the G7 urges the FSB to advance a swift development and implementation of consistent and comprehensive regulation. And I do think that this is pretty significant when you look at this. And I think that this is actually funny that when we look at this, right, and we kind of compare and contrast to what happened recently during, the summit meeting, the World Economic meeting. We did see MasterCard CEO teases CBDC panel Swift may not exist in 5 years. And I don't think that it's, the idea that, like, listen, Swift is going to collapse in 5 years or anything like that. I just think that it's like, it's simple, right? If Swift doesn't soon adopt digital currencies and get regulatory clarity around digital assets in general, and it's not like on Swift to actually bring in like regulatory clarity or anything like that. It's more so the idea that, like, listen, we are seeing a clear picture being printed before us, and that is digital assets are growing. Digital asset demand is growing. In terms of these efficiencies, they're too large to ignore now. You look at things happening even around, like, we look at cross-border payments, and cross-border payments are great in things, but when you actually look at like crypto liquidity as well, and like even central bank digital currencies, there's still one major thing to really kind of focus on, and that is, of course, liquidity as a whole. XRP's ODL solution in general is something pretty, interesting, because you kind of compare and contrast that to what we are doing on a day-to-day basis with the legacy system. This is why I've always mentioned like Swift being extremely inefficient compared to a lot of the solutions that we do see in the digital asset space now, and it really kind of prints a picture on where we are headed on the journey to get to like peak adoption for crypto tech. Because again, I could go out, slide my card at the store, make a pre-approved payment. It takes days for it to settle in my bank account. And, we are in a digital age where things shouldn't take days to settle. Things should be in seconds. Instant settlement. You are not seeing that without a solution like this from Ripple. So when we talk about like the G7 countries, they are ready. They are ready for, adoption of crypto assets. They do need regulation though in order for us to actually adopt that. This is also why I do believe that when we talk about like XRP moving in price and everybody's saying like, good news, XRP is not going to, pump in price because of this good news around like, XRP settlement and adoption of RippleNet. I understand exactly where you guys are coming from, but we're not going to see that until regulations are in place, because that is going to open the door for a lot of these major solutions to actually utilize RippleNet technology with XRP. Because a lot of the adoption that we are seeing with RippleNet, although, yes, like I said, we are seeing, them basically, I would say, tease us with XRP use cases, because, again, real-time, gross settlement is something that you're not seeing without XRP. But it's still the idea that, like, you are not going to see that peak adoption without regulations. All of these use cases that we do see going live with RippleNet will ultimately utilize XRP, because it's a no-brainer move to save the additional 30%, as well as get the instant settlement. And also, on-demand liquidity saves them, not only a ton of FX rates and things like that, but it also allows for a lot more efficiencies to be unlocked. For example, they do have source for liquidity, which also opens the door for many other use cases. That's why we really kind of look at like the crypto liquidity hub. The liquidity hub is not going to be backed by like XRP liquidity, but it's still something to really kind of bring in more adoption from the financial institutional area. And it's going to allow for a lot of these financial institutions to source liquidity through digital assets, which I also do think is an incredible, area to look at in terms of like accelerated growth for crypto. But again, you could really kind of see where Ripple is focused on. And, their main focus is liquidity. I would say that their specialty is, primarily not only instant settlement payments, but also liquidity itself. And I always really kind of look at like XRP as the power source for a lot of the things happening on Ripple, because like even line of credit, for an example, is sourced by XRP for SMEs. But you really got to pay attention to things that are happening around adoption of RippleNet in general, because again, at the end of the day, when you look at things happening around this, all of these major banks, like Villanova, for an example, will have exposure to RippleNet, but it will also allow for exposure to other banks that are within, the tech stack, if you will. And we kind of compare and contrast this with like Tranglo and Finastra as well, which I will talk about in a additional video. But with that being said, I hope that kind of clarifies why XRP itself, is not rising with a lot of these use cases. But we are seeing peak, or I shouldn't say peak adoption, but we are seeing mass adoption of RippleNet technology. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.